better be true. Yeah. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. Yeah. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. Be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. eyes have seen, yeah. Oh, to do me till yeah, yeah. Don't let them tell you you can't, and they won't help you just so you know. Just keep on pushing, oh. If it's a daddy, me, oh, day, my day, my to go down. If it's a mommy, me, oh, day, my day, my to go down. Ori, ori, me, go, ori, lana, go, you, ori, me, must, yeah, yeah,
Dr. Dollar Entertainment.
Moshorire la yemi oe, moshorire, mosherere na yemi a mosherere. Ah, oh, man.
Jason. Dr. Dollar Entertainment.
I pray, the money enter one day, one day. Say I go hammer, I pray. Say it go better for me one day.
Yeah. If you there for back, I go there for front. Chineke puli wo menu wesimu mamburu kawao. Afufunta chalo wemesia we boutique oh. I know say I know deserve your blessings, but you they still support. Now I'm living life like a holiday. Now I know they care because money day. Only if a man will be konya di day. On your lawyer kulu konya di day. Papa no get no money no day oh. But I go hard oh. I make my mama proud oh. Yeah. Blessings follow me and follow Kenny oh. Imana tukwe mego mo they one amongst many oh. Yeah.
One day. Say I go hammer, I pray. Say you go better for me one day. As I did take money. Once God the answer prayer is sure for me. Yeah, as I did take money. Yeah. Once God the answer prayer is sure for me. Cause who don't get money, nobody won't play with them. Who don't get money, nobody won't call the phone. Now I won't get money, so I feel for my mama.
Tobaha. Udoha. Weloya. Tobagideha. Mulanya. Udoha. Weloya. Tobagideha.
One day. Say I go hammer. I pray. Say you go better for me. One day.
Tobaha. Udoha. Weloya. Tobagideha. Mulanya. Udoha. Weloya. Tobagideha.
HypeNigeria.com.
I'm just an ordinary girl sitting in a hallway. I know they turn up, cause I'm a little boring. But I'm the life of the party, cause I'm kinda funny. Money don't drive me, I drive my money. Yeah. When I saw the thing be, me I no go force you to like what you see, yeah. Because I come in peace, and I'm at peace, and that's all I need, yeah. Everything's not for everyone, and that is okay. You gotta take me as I am, I'll be better, but I'll never be somebody else. Hey, wherever you go, be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Yeah, whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. I talk a little too much, I got it from my mama, got it from Shola, yeah. My baby tell me, I guess it's drama. Whatever. Oh, I do the best I can, cause I believe in karma. Oh, no. Maga don't pay me, no, I pay my maga. You see, now so the thing be, me I no go force you to like what you see, yeah. Because I come in peace, so, and I'm at peace, and that's all I needed. See, everything's not for everyone, and that is okay. Just take me as I am, I'll do better, but I'll never be somebody else. Hey, wherever you go, be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Yeah, whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. See, nobody perfect, no be like. I've got flaws I can't deny, but everybody getting personality. My guy make you live.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning. Let's use this 5 minutes to test run and be sure the panelists can hear. And you know, it's not when they are supposed to speak. You now say, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" You're supposed to use the first 15 minutes to do that. And the music is actually too high. If you have to put it on, kindly reduce the volume because of our ears. For some of us that are using the earpiece. Okay. Since you can hear me, I think I'm good. I'm sorry I won't be able to share slides. I've been so busy. So I'm saying this off record. I've been so busy, but I will try to deliver as much as I can because I have a conference coming up. We just finished one, and I have another one. So I know I wasn't able to send you my abridged citation. I'm sorry about that. So you just give me 1 minute to talk about myself, if you don't mind.
Okay, no problem, ma'am. It's all right.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
The music can go on, but just please reduce the volume. So sorry.
Good morning, everyone. Please, I would like us to use these few minutes to test our mic and be sure it's working. Check if you can hear me clearly. And if you can't, please identify or probably use the chat button. Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to today's program. And I'm sure you can hear me clearly. Please check again and see if you can hear or not. I wouldn't want us to take a lot of our time, so we'll be starting as soon as possible. Good morning once again. We'll be starting immediately without waste of time. And you can look at the program that's displayed on the screen. Before that, I want to say welcome to us. I want to recognize the presence of Engineer Mrs. Fumilola Ojelade, the APOEM President. Mommy, you're welcome. I want to recognize the presence of Engineer Margaret Oguntala, FNSC. Mommy, you are welcome. I also want to recognize the presence of Engineer Chinyere Nennaigwegwe. You are welcome. We'll be starting immediately with the national anthem. All right, so we move on next to the agenda we have, and that is the welcome address by NUESA President. Hello, everyone, respected guests, students, representatives, and all participants of this webinar. Today, we've gathered here to discuss and dissect a vital theme: women engineers, catalysts in building human development and technological advancements. In line with our mission and core value, to create a forum for discussing technological advancements through organizing seminars, workshops, symposia, lecture and sustainers of professional ethics and standards respectively. Despite the increased interest in engineering among women, there are still a number of challenges that are contributing to the continued gender disparity. One of these barriers is limited number of role models in the field because the number of women in the field is low. To continue encouraging women in the engineering field, universities, companies, and professional organizations like Korean, NSC, APWEN, etc., we need to leverage several valuable resources by creating an atmosphere that is conducive to all kinds of engineers. This has caused us to invite professionals in the engineering field to inject us with requisite knowledge that will not only build us for a greater tomorrow, but also prepare and impact in the lives of both male and female students, their roles towards human development, technological advancement, and national development. On behalf of NUESA National, I want to thank and appreciate in a dynamic way Engineer Fumilola Ojela, the FNSC, APWEN President, Engineer Margaret A. Oguntala, FNSC, FNSCHE, Engineer Nena C. Gwegbe, FNSC, national executives, chapter presidents, students, and all participants for honoring this invitation. I am positive that you all feel enriched with knowledge after completion of this program. I welcome you all once again to the webinar and hope you all have a great time ahead. Thank you. Chukwudi Bim Anointing, National President. I want to also use this avenue to introduce our moderator for today's event. Our moderator for today's event will be a graduate student from the prestigious Covenant University, Keren Haput Osirin, who happens to be a first-class graduate of civil engineering. She will be taking it up from here. Karen, please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chukudibem. I'm honored to be here. First of all, I'd like to appreciate everyone for taking our time to attend this program. And for our special guests, you are highly welcome. So next on our agenda is an opening remark by the APWEN President, Engineer Mrs. Fumilola Ojela, the FNSC. Madam.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for inviting me here. I appreciate the NUESA National President for organizing this. And I'd like to recognize the presence of some of my elders that are here. Past President of Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Ademola Olorunfemi, FNSC. The two speakers who are staunch APWEN members, Engineer Margaret Aino Oguntala, FNSC, and Engineer Chinyere Nnenna Igwegbe, the National Secretary of APWEN. I welcome you here also. And I also have here the Southwest Coordinator of APWEN, Engineer Dr. Mujirade Oloruntoba, FNSC. And all other APWEN members that are here, you're all very important, and I recognize your presence, and I thank you for joining NUESA in doing this. The title of today, Women Engineers, Catalysts in Human Development and Technological Advancement, made me I was very pleased to hear it and got me really interested in knowing what the speakers are going to say about it. I'm a woman and I'm pleased to be a woman, happy to be a woman. If I have another choice at another time, I will always come as a woman. Because indeed, I believe that we are catalysts for human development and technological advancement of a nation, because we are the ones who take care of the child when he or she is young and nurture the first 6 years, because that is where a child is formed. You know, whatever they are going to become, it is at those developmental stages that they are formed. And I'm looking at the title of today, the theme of today's webinar in that light, that we are being called the catalysts because we are the one who nurses the child up to the point where the child begins to be aware of himself and of herself. And whatever we have put in that child at that point is what the child is going to use in becoming the president of a nation, in becoming the president of associations and societies. So I am very delighted to be here, and I congratulate everyone who is here, and I enjoin you to please listen to what the speakers have to say. And if you have at any time think that women are not important, today is a day that you're going to know who we are by what the people will say. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Very well said, Ma. As you were speaking, I was already blushing and really pumped right now. So shortly we'll be calling upon our first speaker, Engineer Margaret A. Oguntala, FNSC, and I'll be reading her citation so that we get to know who she is. The life of Margaret Aina Oguntala is an open book. In everything she does, she ensures that she exemplifies diligence, good team spirit, excellence, capacity, competence, dignity, integrity, vision, commitment, contentment, accountability, and unblemished character. She is indeed, according to Ari Afe Babalola, SAN, a woman of substantial substance. Margaret Aina Oguntala, popularly known as Erelu of NSE, obtained a BEng from the University of Benin in 1986. She is now a certified environmental consultant. She has also kept abreast of her career by attending various professional development programs, both within and outside the country. In her 36 years of postgraduate life, she has garnered experience in various fields of chemical engineering and management. Today, she is the MD/CEO of BAMSAT Nigeria Limited, as well as managing partner of BAMSAT Engineering Services Limited. Both companies are involved in environmental consultancy, fire and safety, and civil and mechanical engineering services, respectively. Also presently, Margaret is the Executive Director of Kennel Nigeria Limited, a board member, Black House Media Limited, a representative of the Southwest Geopolitical Zone on Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, a member of the Governing Council of Lagos State Polytechnic, and also a member of the College Industry Board at Covenant University, Otta. A three-term vice president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Margaret has served the Nigerian Society of Engineers in various capacities in her 25 years of membership. She is the 9th chairman of NSC, the Ikeja branch, from 2009 to 2011. At the national level of the Association of Professional Women Engineers in Nigeria, APWEN, Engineer Oguntala served as General Secretary, Publicity Secretary, and Technical Secretary at various times between 1996 and 2004. She has also remained active in the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers since she joined in 1993 by serving in various committees. Margaret has also been a guest speaker at various events, both engineering and non-engineering. She has over 56 awards and accolades to her name. She is happily married to engineer Theophilus Oguntala, FNSC, FNSCHE, and they are blessed with children and grandchildren. Let's give a warm welcome to Mrs. Margaret. Ma.
She requested for 5 minutes to settle in on the chat.
Okay. Sorry, just a brief reminder. If you have questions as speakers are presenting, please just note them down in the chat box. We have a session at the end of the two presentations to take question and answers. Thank you. Sorry, while we're waiting, we have here the past president of NUESA, Dauda Monsuru, and we'd like to bring him up to introduce our guests.
Admin, please.
My apologies, please.
Okay, mommy.
Yes, I had to be somewhere earlier. The executive vice president of WFU, Engineer Mbishew FNSC, is a guest speaker at the induction, the CED induction into Hall of Fame today, Hall of Fame. So he requested that I accompany him. So I had to follow him to Sheraton. And then I rushed out of the place and got caught up in a small traffic. So now I'm in a secure place where I can do my presentation. So I apologize seriously to my president, the president of APWEN, Engineer Funlola Ojelade, FNSCHE. I listened to the introductions while I was coming here, and I realized that our past president, Engineer Ademola Olorunfemi, is on this call. Engineer Ademola Olorunfemi, FNSC, my respect, sir. Engineer Chinyere Nnenna Igwebe, the National Chairman of the Nigerian Institution of Water Engineers and National Secretary, General Secretary of APWEN. I recognize you, ma'am. My president, sir, the president of NUESA, and all the past presidents on the call. I bow and tremble, as always, to the authorities. Now, may I start my presentation now, my president?
Yes, Mommy, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I'll start sharing my screen now. Sorry. Okay. So once again, good morning, everybody. I'm very glad to be part of this event, this webinar, which is basically to showcase the woman as a catalyst in building human development and technological advancements. I'm going to be talking about pioneering equity, strategies to bridge the gap on your value and negotiate your worth. Okay, so my citation has been read, so I'm going to skip this, but this is just an intro of me for the benefit of those who probably did not listen to the reading of the citation, but I want to believe that everybody did, and I've taken enough time already. Introduction. Despite being a genius, I want to start with the story of Hedy Lamarr, a woman of substance in her own time. Despite being a genius, Hedy Lamarr was not immediately recognized for her scientific work. She was known more for her works in Hollywood. And that's because in those days, women were only known for the soft skills and not for sciences, STEM, as most women have gone into now, and then, of course, engineering. And so even when a woman excelled, when Hedy excelled in the sciences, she was only recognized for her works in Hollywood for a very long time. And although she died in 2000, Lamarr was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame only in 2014 for the development of her frequency hopping technology. So you can imagine how long that took, even only 14 years even after she died. So from history, many talented women could not find expression for their talents because of poor remunerations and varying disparities, which we are going to be talking about today. And many brilliant female engineers, indeed, had to abandon the engineering profession when new opportunities were presented, or they were also inundated with other tasks of being a woman. And therefore, the nation has lost many such talents that could have been deployed to national development. So what do we do to bridge the gap? How do we own our values and also negotiate our worth as women? Yes, This is Professor Grace Alele Williams. Professor Grace Alele Williams was my vice chancellor in the University of Benin. And she became vice chancellor in 1984, the very first female vice chancellor in Nigeria. Professor Alele Williams not only did very well, she did not only excel as vice chancellor, she broke all the records that there were as far as being vice chancellor of the University of Benin was concerned. Of course, she had her own share of troubles. When she came in, a number of people thought that, well, I mean, no woman had ever been vice chancellor. So people were like, can this woman do the job? And she was tested. She was tried in a number of ways. And I'll tell you one of the things that happened to her. She decided to build a wall to surround the girls because of the incursion of boys into the hostels. And what did the boys do? One night, they just gathered themselves and dished this obey. You know how it is, all of them. They just put their hands to the wall and broke the wall with force. This woman was undaunted. A few days later, she put up the walls again. And then the boys realized that this woman meant business. And we started calling her Mamangida. It was during the tenure of Ibrahim Babangida. So we started calling her Mamangida because we saw that she knew what she wanted to do and she would not take, she was a no-nonsense person. Gender equity. Gender equity means fair treatment of women and men according to their respective needs. And this may include equal treatment or treatment that is different, but which is considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. So gender equity is about fair treatment of both men and women. It has nothing really to be, you don't have to be a woman to enjoy gender equity. It is meant for both sexes. And it talks about correcting gender bias so that economic outcomes improve for all and sundry. So when gender biases are corrected, when they are eliminated, then we can say we have gender equity, when everybody is given the same opportunity, regardless of a sex or gender. This is Queen Amina of Zaria. You can see what she did here. Most of all the other people were men. Most of them were men. But look at her, leading a war in her time. So this is a woman who saw the opportunity of gender equity at that time and took the opportunity to do this. So she got the opportunity, she had the opportunity, and she seized that opportunity and used it to her advantage. And today she remains a hero, a heroine, if you wish. So this is Queen Amina of blessed memory. So you imagine that women, even long ago in Nigeria, knew what they wanted and went for it. So I'm still talking about gender equity. Research has shown that when more income is put into the hands of women, child nutrition, health, and education improves. I listened to my president when she was talking, and she did remind us that women are very important in the development of a nation because women are the first contact of the child at birth. And not women only just the first contact at birth. Women are also those who actually spend more time to nurture the child. So the child is more likely to imbibe the habits of the woman, of his mother, than his father, who most of the time does not spend so much time with him. According to the Federation of Agricultural Organization, women in rural areas who work for wages are more likely to hold seasonal, part-time, and low-wage jobs than men. Women also receive lower wages for doing the same work as men. So gender equity is not practiced in most of the rural areas. Women in workforce are more likely to understand customer needs. Now, that's another advantage of gender equity, because women in workforce are more likely, because as women are more passionate about things. Women display more empathy naturally, And women, of course, also are more able to multitask naturally by their natural endowments than men. As more men go into entertainment and sports, there is a significant need to fill the labor gap in STEM career, and women are more than capable of filling the gap. And once that gap is filled, then national development is better guaranteed. Many educated women now contribute to job creation through entrepreneurship, thereby helping alleviate poverty and aiding economic growth. So with gender equity, a lot more women are doing a lot more than they were doing before. And being job creators is actually also paramount now, in particular, when more people need to have multiple streams of income, and where we also need to think more and innovate more as engineers in particular. This is Engineer Oluma Duka. This woman is the founder of Apwen. She's one of the six people, as they always put it, who founded Apwen. But she became the pioneer president because I think the initial idea came from her. And she has done so much as a mentor, as a motivator, as somebody who also inspires a lot of women to excel in engineering. She also went on to become, she was vice president of NSC, and then went on to become the first female president of the Academy of Engineering in Nigeria. So this is another woman who has dared to excel, you know, in her lifetime. And she's still very, very much alive and cheering us up and leading us on. Now, importance of SDG 5. I'm sure we all know about the UN development, sustainable development is the one that talks about equity. I mean, gender equity. So I just want to dwell a bit on the importance of the SDG 5. The SDG 5 is aimed at discouraging violence against women. It's aimed at enhancing economic development, because once there is gender equity, then economic development will be enhanced. It reduces discrimination of all kinds and benefits, it also benefits men as they are relieved of some duties. Children are healthier and better when women have more economic power. Business benefits when there is female representative. And then, of course, ultimately, gender equity aids national growth. It brings about peace and generally reduces poverty. So these are the importance of SDG 5, and which is talking about gender equity. These are the SDGs. Number 1 is no poverty, no hunger, good health. And once you have number 5, the gender equality, then a lot of the other goals will be better, more easily achieved. So I believe that apart from the goal number 7, which talks about partnerships for the goals, the SDG 5 is the one that really addresses, that kind of connects every other goal. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know about you. This is another woman who has made her mark, and very well. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the CEO of World Trade Center, World Trade Organization. So this is one woman who has excelled, like I said earlier, and when given the opportunity, women were able to bridge that gap. And how do you bridge the gap? Education, which is what many of us on this platform today have got. And not just education, you have set goals for yourself, you set a goal for yourself, you reach for that goal, and then you see that you can become somebody like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala or even better. So she realized within her, Ngozi has done very well and being able to negotiate her worth as well. Now, when we talk about gender equality, some people think we are feminists. Just a few days ago, I was talking about gender equality and how women should have equal opportunities as men, and even be encouraged to not only take leadership roles, but also excel, in those roles. And then that, as a matter of fact, women should be allowed, not just encouraged. And the man told me that I was a feminist. So I decided that I was going to talk about this today, that feminism is quite different from gender equality. Feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the ground of the equality of the sexes, while gender equality is the state in which access to rights or opportunities is unaffected by gender. Feminism is mainly concerned with the rights of women, while gender equality is concerned with the rights of everyone, irrespective of gender. So if you have a man and a woman vying for a position, and you rate them equally, you give them equal opportunities, you are more likely to pick the brighter mind than when you think this is a woman, I don't think she's suitable, or you think this is a man, this is not suitable. So we're talking about the fact that everybody should have equal opportunities, and that is gender equality or equity. This is Mrs. Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. A lot of people who are from the Southwest will know her, and even beyond. She was a human rights activist from Abeokuta, and she did quite a lot, to get the voice of the woman heard, and not just the woman. She also fought for the men. So this is one woman who lived beyond the boundaries of being a woman, who lived beyond the boundaries of gender, but dared to do things that she ought to do, regardless of what her gender was. And she was able to bridge the gap and break barriers. Some examples of inventions by women. Despite facing discrimination, women all through history have been credited with famous inventions, such as the car heater was invented by a woman, the fire escape, wireless transmission technology, the laser cataract surgery, computer algorithm, home security system, the Kevlar fiber which is used to make bulletproof vests, computer software, medical syringe, windshield wiper, automatic dishwasher, and so on and so forth. And we also have Eunice Newton Food, who was the first scientist to make the connection between the amount of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere and climate change in 1856. So women as far back as 1856 have been making their marks, bridging the gaps, and owning the values. This is Mrs. Bola Kuforiji Olubi. This woman was a chartered accountant. As a matter of fact, when I was growing, I didn't think, there weren't so many women who were chartered accountants, but this is one of the first set of women who became chartered accountants. And she did not only become she was not only a chartered accountant, she was also the very first woman to become the president of ICANN, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And she did very well because she knew her value, because she knew how to negotiate her worth. And so breaking barriers was easy for her. So, and she was respected for who she was. At some point, people stopped looking at her as just a woman. People saw her for what she was, for the value which she had, for what she stood for, and what she worked at. So it's important that as a woman, you also do that. I mean, make people see you for what you are, what you have in your head. And that's why I tell some young women about the way we appear. You are dressed the way you are dressed. As a woman, you need to look feminine. I have today, when I was going out, I decided to make up my face, wear lashes, do this, I do all kinds of things. But I also knew that while appearing feminine, I also need to let people know when I talk, that they have content, and it's important. So you don't want to sell yourself as just a woman with all the beauty. You also want them to know that you have some brain and that you have what it takes to be wherever you want to be, and to be also to be whoever you want to be. It's important that you're able to market yourself. And you can't do that unless you own your value. So it's very important. That is the core business that I am to address today. But Floridi Olubi was able to do that. And that's why she excelled and became the first female president of ICANN. Some female achievers in Nigeria. I've shown you the picture of Milayo Kuti. Then there was Margaret Epo, who was also a human rights activist in the South. We had Flora Nwapa. I've mentioned and shown you Grace Alele Williams. We also had Florence Seriki, a renowned entrepreneur who went into computer, assembly and then of computer. And then we have Kufo, Ademola, and a lot of other women, some of whom I will also still show as we go along. This is Patricia Olubomiete. This was the very first woman to become the Speaker of the House of Representatives in Nigeria. And in fact, a lot of people, when she was elected as Speaker, a lot of people had some misgivings. They were like, can a woman do this? But she did a good job, even though she ran into some political intrigues later. At least she worked for that position and she got it. And she did not just get there by, she was not nominated to that position. She worked hard towards it, was elected as a member of the House of Representatives. She participated in the politics to become the Speaker of the House. So you find yourself if you find yourself in an organization, you must also work within that organization, work with everybody that you find in the organization to ensure that you sell yourself, you market yourself with what you have, your brain, your values, and then you can be anything that you wish to be. Strategies to bridge the gap as a group of people, as a group of women. And that's why I said collective responsibilities. Gender equity recognizes that women as gender diverse people are not in the same starting position as men most of the time. This is because of biological and social disadvantages. So how do we bridge the gap? Close leadership gap and tap into women power. By women power, I don't mean what the average person will call women power. The women power by women power, I mean the natural values that we have, the natural endowments that we have, the instinct, the feminine instinct that we do have towards things. And then, of course, our natural way of being passionate about whatever we do and being empathic with people, which makes us better leaders, really. Remove gender stereotypes. That's one way to bridge the gap. Encourage zero tolerance against towards sexual harassment, all forms of sexual harassment. It's not only men who harass women sexually, women also harass men. And encourage partnerships and collaborations at work. It's very, very important. Promote diversity at work, pay same salaries for equal work. That's been done now, most majorly. I mean, a majority of women now enjoy the same salaries as their male counterparts. In the past, women used to have lower salaries. Now, this is Engineer Nkechi Isigwe. Engineer Nkechi Isigwe was one of the very first women to join the NNPC. And she was able to hold her own system. She made people realize what's intellect in terms of contribution. And she's still doing so much now in the in Apwen in particular. She's a motivator of many of us. She made me join Apwen when she was president, sending forms and telling me, come and join Apwen. We can collectively do a lot more than we can as individuals. And Apwen is doing a lot of that now, a lot of advocacy, a lot of mentoring, and so much that is happening, all thanks to the president and all the past presidents of Apwen, the likes of Maduka and Isigwe. So still cheering us on, still mentoring some of us, and many of us, really. So what are the strategies to bridge the gap? As individuals, you must own your values. And this means that you must know what you have and own it. You must know what to stand for. Those are your values. You must know what you must know. You must just know your values. I don't think there's a better way to put it. So what values do you have? People will ask you, if you aspire for a position, for instance, people will ask you what values you want to bring to the table. So whatever values you have, you must own them. It's only when you own them that you can talk about them and you can act towards them. And you must know your worth. Know what you are worth. One major problem with a lot of women is that our self-esteem is not as high as it should be. Every woman has whatever it takes to be whatever she wants to be. So as a female, you must know your worth, know what you are worth, and remain focused on what you are worth. You must develop your emotional intelligence if you want to bridge the gap. You must do that. Emotional intelligence is in fact, it's everything. Soft skills. You must develop your soft skills, be able to communicate well, be able to relate well with people. Your interpersonal relationship, all those are things that you develop and which make up your emotional intelligence. Your social status. How do you hold yourself in public? How do you want people to view you? Do you appear the way you want people to view you and stuff like that? Do you go to an event only aiming to be how do you put it? All good, for men to just look at you and say, oh, beautiful. Or you want to see them, you want them to see you exactly the way you are, beautiful and intelligent. Surround yourself, embrace the culture of personal development. You must continually develop yourself. If you don't develop yourself and keep abreast of the trends in the environment and in the profession, then you will be left behind and you will only have yourself to blame. Surround yourself with people you can learn from. Get a mentor and role model. I have a role model. As a matter of fact, I have role models for everything that I want to do in life. I have a role model for dressing. I have a role model for for appearance. I have a role model for how I want, where I want to be. I have a role model for the way I even address people. I have a role model for all of that. So get a mentor, get a role model. Be a mentor too, and role model. So you must be somebody that other people can look at, somebody who motivates other people, somebody who other people want to emulate. So you must also make yourself a role model by being of exemplary behavior. This is Engineer Idiat Amusu. This woman is the first agric engineer in Nigeria, first female agric engineer in Nigeria. And she has worked in a number of places apart from the Abatech. And even while there, she also had her own business. She does fabrication of machines. She does boiler. She does all kinds of things. And she still has in her hands in a number of things, even now at a retired age. And she has not stopped mentoring us. She is my mentor. I look up to her. There are a few things that I want to do, and I'm like, I ask myself, would Mommy, as I fondly call her, will she approve of what I want to do now? And I don't do it. So she has remained, and I know it's not just me, she has remained a role model for many of us, and she keeps at it, and she keeps working at it. Conclusion. While gender equality is not about competing, but collaborating with men, each woman must discover herself, identify her space. So, and by space, I mean, where do you want to be? What kind of dream do you have? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? You want to become a leader in your group? You want to be whatever you want to be. Identify what space you want to occupy. Because unless you know what space you want to occupy for that space, set her goals and reach for them. So you must have a goal and keep your eye on the ball, remain focused on your goal and reach for them. When a female recognizes and owns her values, negotiating her worth becomes easy. And the sky will just be the restarting point as barriers will be broken and glass ceilings shattered. Women, all the women that I've mentioned earlier, and even more, many more, have broken barriers in the past. They have broken glass, shattered various glass ceilings. and all we need to do is to keep at that, keep pushing, as I always say. Remember that, but there's a basic thing that you must remember, that your network is your net worth. So you cannot remain in your corner and expect that things will come to you, or expect that you'll be able to reach that goal. You must network. You must reach out to people. You must learn to partner with people. You must learn to collaborate. And you must see your male counterparts as your collaborators, as partners. And particularly as women, as the female gender, we also need to see ourselves as partners in progress, and in the quest to bridge the gap and continue to also break barriers. So, and I want to end with this. Start by doing what is necessary, then what is possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. Those are the words of Francis Assisi, with which I end this presentation. Thank you for listening. I thank NUESA for the opportunity to make this presentation. I thank the participants, everybody who is here on this call, for listening to me, and remain blessed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma, for this awesome presentation. Like, it was like you were speaking to me directly, like you answered a whole lot of personal questions I had, and it's really wonderful to hear. And there's something you said that really struck me, and it was about gender bias, and it's still something that we battle with in our society. But I believe that with proper sensitization, that the society at large will embrace gender equity so as to make the world a better place for us all. Thank you so much, Ma. If you have questions for Engineer Margaret, please type them out in the comment section. We'll be taking questions and answers after the two presentations. So without further ado, we'll be calling up our next speaker, Engineer Chinyere. Ma, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning. It's the morning. Good morning, my past president. First and foremost, good morning, my president, Engineer Fulola Ojelade FNSC. I want to appreciate my past president, Engineer Isaac Ademola Olorofemi FNSC, sir, my 3 times vice president, Engineer Margaret Oguntala FNSC, Erelu of the world. I'm glad to be here. This is the first time I'm having a presentation on the same platform with her. So I wonder what I'm going to say. I want to appreciate everyone that is here. I saw the Abuja NSC Abuja branch chairman, Engineer A.B. Abdul Malik, and a host of others, past presidents of NUESA, incumbent president, and the ESCOs. I'm really grateful having me here. And also thank you, Karen, for doing a good job. My topic on the theme happens to be human capacity development, the perspective of female engineers. Sorry, I may not be able to share any slide, but I would like that you listen to me attentively. My mama has done a great job, and she has simplified my work. And I'm so happy she happens to be the first speaker. So thank you, Ma. And we go now. Human capacity development, the perspective of the female engineers, or the female engineers' perspective. Then we start with engineers. Who are we? Engineers are essential to sustainable development. Globally, they play a critical role in driving progress towards the United Nations Sustainability Goals, which not only have the potential to protect the natural world, but also to spur much needed economic growth, reduce poverty, and build resilience in Africa and other regions too, especially here in Nigeria. However, we have a severe shortage of engineering skills in Africa, and this is threatening the progress towards achieving these SDG goals, as our mother, Margaret Oguntala, has demonstrated. She has shown us the 17 SDGs. And with an estimated 2.5 million new engineers needed to meet these SDGs. And this is according to WFEO. the World Federation of Engineering Organization. Now, human capacity development. How can we possibly define human capacity development? It is a process by which individuals, groups, organizations, institutions, and societies develop their abilities, both individually and collectively. And if you listen to Mommy very well, you kept hearing collective, everything we have to do collectively. Now, this is to set and achieve objectives, perform functions, solve problems, and to develop the means and conditions required to enable the growth and development of such an individual or organization. And what capability approach do we need? Or what kind of capability approach in human development, or what is this actually? The key idea of the capability approach is that social arrangement should aim to expand people's capability, their freedom to promote or achieve valuable beings and doings. And if you remember what she said too, gender equity, which is different from feminism. So I was listening to her carefully. So, and an essential test of development of talking about this freedom is to ask a question whether people have greater freedom today to do what they're supposed to do. I'll leave you to answer that question. The engineering skill gap also poses serious risks to Africa economy, to Nigerian economy, economic growth. And according to the study carried out, I will be comparing some regions with us. Is to let you know that we have Royal Academy of Engineering in Kenya, we have in almost all the countries, and we have in Nigeria. And of course, she showed you the first female president of the Royal Academy of Engineering in Nigeria, who happens to be the first pioneer president of APWEL, Engineer Joanna Olumaduka, FNSC Fellow of the Academy of Engineering. So I'm going to compare what other people have done with regards to skill gap when it comes to engineering in Africa. So according to a study carried out by the Royal Academy of Engineering in Kenya, the country's economic growth is deemed to be at risk due to shortage of qualified engineers. Just be listening, qualified engineers, shortage of qualified engineers. And as of 2017, Kenya had just 2,100 certified engineers registered through Engineering Board of Kenya. That is like our Korean. As at 2007, 2,100. And you know the population we have in Nigeria as a country, and you must possibly be thinking the number of chartered engineers we have registered with Korea. Well, short of the minimum 6,000 engineers needed to service the growing population of 45 million, that's for Kenya as a country. A survey polling engineers from across sub-Saharan Africa found out that 40% of professional engineers believe engineering education in their country does not provide graduates with the skill required in professional practice. And I ask, do we have the same attributes with regards to not having our graduates not having the required skills, for professional practice? And I'll say yes. And I'll say, are we doing something about it? The answer is yes. If we know what Korean is now doing or is now working on, Korean is working on outcome-based education. And as we speak right now, Korean all over the geopolitical zones are having workshops, putting the lecturers in tune on outcome-based education. Then, as they are doing this, I personally found a missing link, and that is a gap we need to bridge, okay? That gap has to do with the students this time around. And sorry, I did not give my own profile. I love the young engineers, and anything for the young engineers, I'll be at the forefront. So that gap, I found that they are now concentrating more on the lecturers. That's a wonderful idea. Then for the gap, I think personally that we need to bridge is the gap of the students receiving these outcome-based education. What are the students supposed to do? What are they, what kind of platform are they supposed to have to receive this outcome-based education so that it can sink, into the reality of industry need? So that's another thing. And I assure you that the women are already doing something about it. That's on diversity and inclusion, working on that. In addition to the continent's engineering workforce, is being utilized to its it's not being utilized to its full potential, with women accounting for fewer than 10% of engineering professionals in sub-Saharan Africa. Then in Nigeria, how many? Yes, when Mommy was talking, she mentioned that quite a number of people, even NUESA president said, he said, let me quote him, he said, despite the Sorry, can you hear me? I was just muted a while ago. Okay.
Yes, Mo, can hear you.
Okay. So despite the increased interest in women taking up engineering as a profession, we still have a gap, and that is what we are here to talk about, and we are already doing it. We are not just talking the talk, we are doing the talk as well. And I will get to that because APWEN is doing so much in that regard. Addressing engineering diversity problem is crucial to plugging the skill gap and could result in more inclusive economies and sustainable societies that could help address some of the continent's challenge, some of the Nigeria's challenges, particularly those related to climate change, agriculture with respect to food security, peace building, water scarcity, and of course, if not addressed, this will lead to war. And when we have war, what happens? We then have to start fighting to have peace. And then you now have to start using technology and whatever to bring about peace. And I don't think we want to get to that level. Alongside population growth and rapid urbanization, with Africa's population is expected to double by 2050. Nigeria is more than 200 million. And if by 2050 we double, what will happen? We are having issues with water. We are having issues with infrastructure. We are having issue with food. There's food scarcity, whether we like it or not, that's the truth. But what are we doing about it? What are our women doing about it? Because the most vulnerable in this kind of dilemma we find ourselves are the women and the children. We are the most vulnerable. So what are we doing in this regard? And its urban population is expected to almost triple. The ever-increasing threat of climate change is a major issue for Africa to contend with. The rising global temperatures and sea levels have a disproportionate impact on the most vulnerable, which I've mentioned, threatening human health, food, water security, and socioeconomic development. And this actually is the United Nations projection, estimated that the influence of climate change would result in a 2 to 4% annual reduction in GDP. Now, what are women doing about it? I'm sure you must have heard about or are yet to hear about Female in Wash. Female in Wash came about, is a group of women that are into wash, water, sanitation, and hygiene. And it came about because of this COVID-19. And a lot they are doing, and I'm sure soon they'll be launching. So I encourage us to go and look at what the women are doing in that regard. We need to think innovatively, developing homegrown solutions to local challenges. When we talk about homegrown solutions to local challenges, we are talking about nature-based solutions, using what we have to solve our problems, not going to the Asian world, going to the Western world, going everywhere to look for our own problem. When we know that the climate are not the same, when we know that the terrain, everything about us, we are not the same. Everything is not the same. So, but we can take the technology and modify it to suit our own needs and come up with our own solutions. And of course, as a woman in tech, you're a solution provider. Often described as the leapfrog continent, this is Africa. Africa is no stranger to embracing innovation and technological change to deal with major challenges. And of course, I know we all know this. From off-grid pay-as-you-go solar panels addressing continent's energy crisis to mobile operated irrigation system, tackling water scarcity, there is no shortage of homegrown African innovation. You agree with me? And our population, most of our population, or 77% of the population in Africa, are youth under 35 years old. An emerging generation of many of you are listening to me. They are all innovators, and the trend continues. Equipping women and girls in sub-Saharan Africa with engineering skills will support increasing social and economic development, as well as helping to address the climate challenges felt mostly keenly in Africa. I don't even want to go far. Here in Abuja, rain will fall in the morning. Immediately the rain ceases, you will see this temperature rise, and you'll be wondering, was there rain at all? As we speak now, there is no light. There is no light here in Abuja, and this is a place I stay. We rarely have, they don't take light, as in we always have 24/7 light. And look at the climate affecting us. You sleep all through the night. No matter what, even if you use generator, you will just be feeling that heat. The temperature is actually beyond normal. So what can we do? What kind of infrastructure or green technology can we imbibe? What materials can we use for our building? Local materials we can use to curb this kind of heat, especially, like I said, the children and the women are vulnerable to this. So we have opportunities to come up with ideas to solve these local problems, like my madam will say, my president, what type of local problem? This local problem localized, so we have to look for nature-based solutions to solve them. The Global Challenges Research Fund is an African Catalyst program, and they've come up with so many programs, of which women engineers have done, and such a program they've brought it to Nigeria, and they collaborated with Apwen, and I think she engineer was a Royal Academy program executed by Apwen. So I don't want to bore you with more of this Uganda and Sub-Saharan capacity building for women engineers. The aim, there is this program organized by the same women in engineering. It's called Capacity Building for Women in Engineering Bodies in West Africa. It's a project done to understand the challenges the pandemic, that's the COVID-19 pandemic, brought to women and the engineering sector. And this they did, and when they found out it was successful, it was taken to, the program was now cut across 22 countries in Africa. And the women in engineering adapted and redesigned the entire project to meet the adjusted outcomes. Now, why should they redesign it? Why should women redesign such a project? Why? Because they have done their need assessment, the need analysis, and we're able to come up with some points. And when they have to redefine it, like I said, you just take an idea, you reform it to suit your own community or your own purpose or usefulness of what you want to use it for. So, and this was supported, this particular program was supported by Cambridge Institution for Sustainability Leadership. They provided training, and it cuts across executive leadership, diversity, and digital advocacy training, and execution of critical outreach programs within and partner countries. I had to highlight this because collaboration or partnership happens to be one of the SDG goals. The impact of this project was to improve the capacity of engineering bodies to promote gender diversity. And when I talk about engineering bodies, please, I'm not talking about the association, I'm talking about the members. The members, but they have to use engineering bodies because they have to take it first and then take it back to the grassroots. So it's to improve the capacity, and I'm talking about human capacity development, to improve the capacity of the gender diversity and relevance within engineering and among engineering professionals in Africa in a new digital normal, where often these institutions lack capacity or understanding on the effective use of digital platforms for advocacy and outreach. Yes, we have phones, and we say that's much of technology that we need. And I say, no, you can do so much with your phone. You can do so much. You can improve on whatever you have by having some apps, you know, to mitigate or curb the menace in the society, depending on the angle or the problem you're planning to solve. And we ask a question: what is the role of women in technology? According to Women in Tech statistics for 2020, a mere 20% of positions in tech world are held by women, yes or no? Although we often bear that there is a lack of female technology leaders, the reality is that there are more and more women who are becoming involved in leadership positions or launching startups. That we know. If you go online, we'll check. And the last speaker had already mentioned a few here in Nigeria that we can reckon with. So what does it mean to be a woman in tech? I'd already mentioned that, that a woman in tech solves problems, no matter the kind of problems, big or small. As long as you solve a problem, you identify a problem and you are able to solve it, you are a woman in tech, because you think. A woman in tech thinks not only of the career in tech and what it can do for her, but she also tries to use the skills. You know, she thinks about what skills she can use to make an impact on her community, country, and world at large. Once she finds what her passion is, a woman in tech thinks about what she can do to make the world a better place, or to make things work better for others. I want to also ask a question: how can we encourage more women in technology? Madam has answered it partly, but like my own topic is basically for the engineers, female engineers. We're providing work experience to schoolgirls, or participating in lectures or workshop advocacy that will strengthen awareness and encourage women to pursue a career in tech. It is also crucial to attract women in tech who are returning to work, as they possess developed skills, as they may possess developed skills and experience, which could strengthen the tech company. Now, there's something I carved as TTY, which is Catch Them Young. I'm not bringing it home where we are. APWEN, as most of us know, Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, we are doing so much. I'm glad my president happens to be the chair of this program. We've been doing Inventive Build It. That Inventive Build It is basically for catching the students young as 7 years, as young as 6 years, you know, that category, you know, to K-12, that is grade 12, you know, so we try to catch them. And for us to even catch them and give them that scholarship, we give them experiments, you know, on buoyancy, sounds, electricity, and the aptitude, what they go through and how they go about it after the experiment is being given to them determines who is selected for the scholarship. Then we have another one we call, that's Inventive Build It. We have another one we call the She Engineers, which the Royal Academy of Engineering sponsored, you know, under the leadership of engineer Dr. Felicia Agubata when she was the president. And I think it was a 1 year or 2 year program. It was a platform a program that we used to teach over 200 thereabouts teachers in the 6 geopolitical zones. And we were able to reach out to them online. Those of them that were able to do physically did their own program. And the testimonies we are getting after that, you can't imagine. And the teachers, you know, it's like an outcome-based education. In fact, the teachers were able to relate what they have been teaching, seeing on paper, they were able to relate it physically, they were able to own it, like Madam said, value it and own it. They were able to own that program, and they're able to now reach out to the students the way the students are able to understand and make meaning. And we were taught first, members of Upwell, and we now went back to teach, and it has not ended. We are still using the same format to reach out to the girl child in the various locations in Nigeria. Then another one that Upwell is doing is the town and gown, which is under the leadership of Engineer Fungola Ojelade. It's a way of bridging the gap between the academia and the industry, where the industry come to tell the students, this is what we need, this is what we do, this is how we go about our operations in our industry. So if you wish or you care to participate or you care to work with us, we have opportunities. And in the last conference we had that town and gown session where these companies like Siemens, like Baker Hughes, we had Guinness, they came to speak to these students. And I know that one of the companies were able to collect CVs of young engineers, of course, female engineers, to see how they can give them, job or placement, even for internship. So the Upwell as a body, we are doing so much in that regard. And many more I may not mention here, but you can visit our website, upwell.org, to read more on what we do. In conclusion, I want to let us know that we need to do more of advocacy. We need to do more of advocacy to attract, female employees in our organization. That is now assuming I'm talking to employers. We need to take a stand. We need to actively recruit females, to in our workplace. We need to introduce returnship. That is returnee, people that have left the job for a while and want to come back, maybe due to maternity or something. They left the job for, let's say, 2 to 5 years, and they want to come back. Of course, within that period, they would have imbibed some capacity development, to bridge the gap so that they will be able to fit in such an organization. Extend flexible work hours, maintain remote work options, build a robust DEI program, commit to career paths and promotions for women. Africa's ability to harness the potential of female engineers is critical for its socioeconomic development and competitiveness. Educating and supporting women in engineering in Africa will help to develop a diverse and future-fit workforce that can help us here in Nigeria and Africa at large to succeed on the global stage. Failure to do so could have devastating effects both on economic growth and Africa's ability to address the climate change and the rest that I've already mentioned that are felt so keenly in the continent. Now, just in a brief, human capacity development. You are in school now, and I'm glad I'm talking to students. Please lay hands on softwares, lay hands on apps, lay hands on designs or some soft skills that can help put you in a better position for employability. What do I mean by soft skills? Soft skills are your communication. Let me not take your time. Just go and read up soft skills. Google will tell you everything. Okay, read up on soft skills. Look for a mentor. Madam has said that, that will position you depending on what you are looking for. If you listen to her very keenly, you would hear her that she has a mentor for this, she has a mentor for that. Just, to keep her at par with concerning where she's going or where she wants to see herself. So I encourage you all to do the same. Look for a mentor, be a good mentee. Don't get a mentor and the first thing you say, sir, my father died last year and I want to go, or my father is sick because of monetary purpose. In fact, coming from that angle, you will not get anything. If I'm the one, I'll block your line. So look for ways to relate with your mentor and remove financial implications from it. If it wants to come, let it come naturally. I've seen mentor-mentee relationship go beyond the physical, go beyond what it is. It goes, it goes to a long-term relationship and you become part of the family. But that depends on how you play your role as a mentee. Despite the progress, women still need more training and access to technology to boost their digital power. You can see what is happening in Afghanistan. The women are using technology to reach out and to bring peace to the country, and many more. I may not have the opportunity to stay here. So be optimistic to take up challenges. Don't have excuse. Take up the technological trend. Research. Know what you want. Be curious in today's world. Okay? Equip yourself with tools and the future. That reminds me, Apwen has a program for the young ones called Tools and Tierra. It's because I mentioned tools now that I don't remember. Tools and Tierra, for those that may not be able to go to the university, there is a vocation for them. And at the moment, we entered a partnership. That's Apwen entered partnership with Tranos Limited. I can't remember the name, with Tranos. And they have more than 10 of identified persons, or pupils or students that we have given to them. And amongst these people, some of them will be employed by Tranos. And can't you see the feat we are doing? We are doing so much to bridge the gap. So equip yourself with tools of the now and the future. In conclusion, I will encourage you to defy all odds, be focused, be determined, pay attention to details like women. We women pay attention to details. Be humble, and I must say that the only obstacle you have or you face in life is you. Yes, you. My own obstacle is me. If I defy me, then I'm moving forward. So you are your challenge. You are your obstacle. Try to walk over your obstacle. Thank you so very much. And I want to thank Engineer Dorothy Okelo, who is she is the Dean of School of Engineering in Makerere University. And she's an awardee of the Royal Academy of Engineering, an African Catholic and caring member of Sub-Sahara. So I thank her for most of the things I used here to make my presentation. So thank you all for listening, and I hope you are able to take one or two words back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Chinyere. It was a really, really awesome and exciting and interesting presentation. And I hope this serves as a wake-up call to us women out there. We need to rise up and develop ourselves in order to be solution providers to the challenges out there so that we can create a better future to our children and also generations to come. Thank you so much, Ma. So before we move to the question and answer session, we have a write-up by Engineer Mojirade. Sadly, she had to leave because of another engagement, but in summary, she said that women are known to be multitasking than other genders. They are also renowned home builders and consequently community and nation builders. And she ended by saying, from whatever angle we may decide to look at it, the relevance of women engineers cannot be overemphasized in issues of development and advancement of our society. Thank you so much, Ma, for this awesome write-up. So next we'll be going to the question and answer sessions. If you have questions, please put them in the comment section so that we can take those. And if you wish to speak, if you wish to ask your question by yourself, please raise your hand or signify in the comment section so we can unmute you. I also have a question, two questions actually, and I would like to ask both speakers. So for Engineer Chinyere, I would like to ask you, what is your advice for any female going into the labor market as an engineer?
Okay, thank you, Karen. My advice is first and foremost, research on the company you want to work with or for. Once you're done with researching, know what you're looking for. Project yourself the first 5 years, where I want to be in that company. Beyond 5 years, am I planning to leave? What am I bringing to the fore? What am I bringing as value? Like Madam Erelu has said, what am I bringing as value to the company? And just know that definitely you're going to face challenges. And when you face these challenges, how are you going to surmount it? Be yourself. Once you are yourself, nobody can push you. So the company you're going, research on it, focus on your goals the first 5 years, and now know what you are bringing to the table. So that's my advice. I don't know if it answered your question, but that's sincerely what I think you should do, or one should do.
Thank you so much, Ma. Like, you answered it. You just summarized everything in one, and I'm really, really grateful for that. Thank you so much, Ma. For Engineer Margaret, I have another question, and it goes like this. The goal of professionals is to have a close to perfect work-life balance. And with the workload that comes with being an engineer and a female engineer at that, and also holding top positions in organizations, how did you manage to juggle this with your personal life?
Thank you. Well, I always say that the best approach is prioritization. You need to know how to put things in compartments, so to speak, and that's priority, in order of priority. If you have a job to do, you are a breadwinner, and you have children, then there's time for everything. There's a time for you to be at work. There's time for you to be at home. So what you do is, when you have to be at work, then you make sure that you concentrate at work and do whatever you have to do to excel there. Then when you get back home, then whatever you need to do to also be a good mother and a good wife, you must do. So once you are able to identify the things that you need to do, it's not too difficult. I know how daunting it can be, but as women, we are naturally good at multitasking. We are gifted in that area. So if you put that natural endowment to action, it won't be too difficult for you. But again, there are other things that you must do. At one of the lectures that I gave, I said, as a young woman, you must also look at the kind of partner that you choose. You don't go into, they say love is blind, but we all know that there's nothing like that. So you don't go into a relationship with a man that would dwarf you, that a man that will not allow you to be yourself, a man that will not allow you to develop yourself. So in choosing, you start from your youth. In choosing your choice of partner, make sure that you choose a partner who understands you, the kind of person that you are, and the fact that you are an engineer who wishes to excel in her profession, as well as be a good wife to him and your children. So it takes the grace of God, of course, to be able to get such a man. But if you look out, then it's easier for you than for you to just feel, well, it will happen. So in your choice of partner, be careful. In your choice of partner, be careful to choose. At least do your best to choose the man who will advance you, the man who will complement you, so that when juggling all these things together, supportive and stuff. I started by working. At one point, I realized that I needed more time with my family. So what I did was I started my own business. So I was doing some small business, and at the same, I even at some point sold clothes. I would get some clothes from my friend who was importing them. I would go and sell at banks, and I was selling industrial chemicals. I was doing feasibility studies for those who wanted to start some cottage industries, some paint industries and stuff. And I was also nurturing my children. And I attended PTA meetings. I even held executive committee positions in PTA, in the PTA of my children's schools. I was chairman of the PTA in the school of my last born, who is 21 now. So I knew when I needed to take some time off. off a regular job to do that, because I felt that I could not do it. But I also have friends, she's retired now, she worked with the oil industry, and she still raised her children. She managed to do that, to do both very perfectly. She's married, but she's married to an engineer, not just because it's an engineer, but a man who is very understanding. So check yourself. What kind of person are you? Are you able to deal with the oil service? Are you the kind of my friend, or you are my type? So make up your mind which type you belong to, or which kind of category you belong to, and then you'll be able to set your goals better. I am also lucky that I have a husband who's very understanding. He's very independent, so to speak. His mother brought him up very well, so he can take care of himself when he has to, and take care of the children as well when I'm not at home. So these days that I'm so busy, I have a special freezer. My children are grown now. I'm a grandmother. And just yesterday, I got home and met my grandchildren. I was coming from all these meetings and they were at home. Grandma, you have to do this, grandma. So I took time again off. I was preparing for this presentation, and I was also attending to them. So at some point, I had to turn my computer off just to spend some time with them, knowing that they will soon leave. So, so it's, like I said, it's just about putting things together in your head, determining what you want to do, and then putting them right, in the various compartments, and dealing with them as they come. And then praying to God for a good partner who would help you to be yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. Like you said, choice of partner is very, very important, and it can either make or it can mar you. So thank you, Ma. We have so far 3 people have indicated that they want to speak. So we'll go with Florence. Please, let's be brief. Thank you. Florence, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question goes to Engineer Chinyere Nena. I'd like to find out from her. So how do you sustain the interest of this engineering, young female engineers? Especially some of them, maybe some were forced to study engineering, it does happen. And then how do you sustain their interest in engineering? Because some even come out of schools and eventually don't even have a place to work. Some would even want to throw the line of engineering, maybe in their workforce, in their workplace, and then they don't have a place to even work and all of that, and then they veer off into something else. So how do we get to sustain the interest of these young female engineers? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Florence. First, you said some of them were forced to study engineering. Sincerely, if you are forced to study engineering, by the time you are done 1 year, you will leave, because you may not be able to cope, and that is the truth. And for those of them that are able to continue and graduate and not able to get a job, is so unfortunate, because this is the kind of dilemma the country we find ourselves in. But be it as it may, we try to reach out, and we try to let these students network. And that was particularly what APWEN did during the conference. There was the Young Engineers session that was so awesome. It was an opportunity for them to network with the so-called in the industry, because we had a lot of them that came for the conference. Then secondly, in each state, basically, we have an APWEN chapter. If not in that state, in the neighboring state, then you also have members who are lecturers in various schools. These students can leverage on that. The problem we have is either they are so scared of getting close to the lecturer, or they just don't want to know what is happening. There are people, there are openings for internship in many organizations. We are not just searching, or rather, the students are not searching, or the graduates are not searching enough. If you search enough, you will see that there are openings for internship within and outside Nigeria. But if you have a problem, please register with APWEN. APWEN.org is our website. register as a student member, we have a way of connecting you to these industries, particularly based on what you feel in, based on what your CV is. So for us to sustain you, or not for us to sustain you, for you to be sustained in the industry, you have to make it a point of duty to bring something to the fore. Like I believe that you don't wait for them to call you. You can, if you are confident, like Madame Erelu said in her presentation, you need to be confident. You need to own your value. So if at the end of this presentation, you are still in that, you are still on that dilemma of where do I go, where do I get a job, I encourage you, take up your confidence, own your value, go to any establishment, just go there and tell them this, you want to work here, or you want to do your internship here. Forget about the money. When you start with what you are going to take back like monetary value, then you miss the mark. But when you tell them you want to learn, you want to increase in knowledge, you want to have experience, then they will give you a listening ear. And let me let you know, that's what people miss out in volunteering. You can even say you want to volunteer, okay, to work. You miss out so much because the first thing that comes in your mind is, how much are they paying me? But I started my work as a youth corper with by volunteering, and that is what took me to where I am today. So go there and tell them you want to volunteer, you want to know more, but be sure their response is, we don't have money. Tell them you are not there for the money. But by the time you start the first week, the second week, going to the fourth week, they see your dedication. Let me tell you, they are the ones that will tell you or look for something for you. And I'm sure my senior members are here to attest to what I am saying. So the only way we can, or you can have that sustainability, is first and foremost, bring value to the table. Then they can now see what you are bringing to the table. They can now see your determination. They can now see that you are very, very serious in your career path. Then they will now decide, oh, I think we need this person. Oh, I think we have another office near where she stays. Instead of coming to this place that is far, let her resume. They will now bring solutions to your table. That's my thought. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. So next up we have Zone A coordinator. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adam Yusuf. I'm the Zone A coordinator. Zone A covers the northern part of Nigeria, typically like the deep north. So I want to direct my question to Engineer Chinyere. Actually, we in the north, we are having deep problem with ladies going into engineering field. They have this mentality that engineering is for the male. So I assume office this year, and I've been trying to crack my brain on how to bring ladies on board to join engineering. And what I was thinking was starting the orientation from secondary school. But then I want to hear the view of Engineer Chinyere on this, and maybe if there's an advice she can add to my own already existing thought. That's my question.
Thank you, Zone A coordinator Adamu. Please, I first and foremost, I want to know Zone A, where does it cover? Which state?
Okay, Zone A covers Kebbi, Sokoto, Zamfara, Bauchi, Gombe, Niger State, Kaduna State, Katsina, and Jigawa.
Okay. Now, it may interest you to know that the Kebbi State government is really, really supporting Apwen, and we have a program coming up. Every of our program, he comes there. So Kebbi State is covered, and it depends on how you are going about it. You wouldn't have problem. Yes, in Bauchi, in Katsina, we have a chapter, Apwen chapter. So you can reach out, you can call me later, you can reach out to the chairman of Apwen Katsina chapter to help you in coordinating. Then for other states you have mentioned, we've not been able to get some of the women, but we are really, really working hard to establish Apwen chapter in these states. Once we do that,
we have Apwen chapter in Kaduna.
Yes, we have Apwen chapter in Kaduna. In fact, for so many years.
And we have in Zaria.
We have in Zaria, yes. He mentioned
and in
Zamfara.
Kano.
Yes, in Kano. Kano is not on the list. So we have
in Kano, we have in Bauchi.
We have in, okay, fine. You see, my president is already mentioning all. So you may check our website, or you call me later to get the contacts of these people, or you call our president, directly, and we'll avail you these ones. But if you have one thing you will do for us, because as a man, and considering the culture, it may not be easy for you to reach out directly. But if you are able to identify a female engineer in Sokoto, Zamfara, Gombe, for us, just give us the name and we'll take it from there. So once we're able to synergize with them and we feel involved, so that you will know as we progress, once the chapters are established in this state I've called now, then you take it, you start working with them. We don't need to be there. So anytime you have a program to reach out to the grassroots, they are there as your platform to reach out. So I think that answers your question.
Not completely.
Okay, my president wants to speak.
Go ahead, Dada.
Okay, what I want to ask actually is maybe if there's any suggestion I can get from the app one.
Yes, I just answered that. I said suggestion is not a problem, but you as a man, considering the culture, you may not reach out.
Let me take that, Engineer Chinyere.
Hello. Oh, so my president.
Yes, I think if I understand what the young man wants, what if you reach out to Apwen, what we do and what Apwen will do is the advocacy. The advocacy is what people need to be able to change that kind of mindset. And one of the things Apwen can help you with that is that when you go on the platform of Apwen to do this advocacy, then the parents and the other women will see women who are like them, who are practicing engineering. Okay, so they see the women are dressed the way they are, the way they themselves are dressed, the way it is accepted in their culture, and they are practicing engineering. So they are like role models for those other women. So it helps them to see that engineering is a career for girls also. And engineering is a career for anyone who wants to be an engineer, whether you're a man or a woman, whatever culture you are from, because all cultures have problems and engineers are problem solvers. Yes. So it's the advocacy. So these programs for the advocacy, Apwen has a number of them, like Engineer Chiri has mentioned. If it's for primary school, we have what we call the Invent It, Build It program. If it's for secondary school, we have the Introduce a Girl to Engineering. We have career talk to secondary schools. So you can organize like a career talk to a junior secondary school. But when you are going, don't go there alone. Take women who are engineers with you. So that take some of your female engineering students with you. So that these girls can see that these are women in my own, and if it's better if you take those who are from your region, so that they will see that, oh, women who are from my region are also studying engineering and practicing it. It tells the story better, even without talking much. Just introduce, oh, this is engineer Miriam Abubakar. She's a civil engineer and she works with the Federal Ministry of Works. She's responsible for the construction of the road that leads from Zaria to Kaduna. Once you say that, that's all you need. Then because they have seen, it will be easier for them to accept. So you can do that in a junior secondary school before they pick the subjects that will enable them to study engineering. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yes, perfectly. Thank you very much. Thank you very
May I
much.
also chip in,
I really
my
appreciate
president?
it.
Okay, sorry.
My president, may I also chip in something?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Okay. So recently, Najib Yunusa did a program. He organized a program in conjunction with APWEN, like has been said by my president and Engineer Gwebe. The program was organized by Najib's company and in conjunction with APWEN Kano chapter. And they brought girls from secondary schools and taught them. They taught them using female engineers. You know, just like the president has said, using your own kind of people who they can relate to, and that worked a lot. Even the speakers, I think we were 2 speakers, and one of us was a female engineer from the north who dresses in the typical northern way. So that they will also be able to realize that, like the president said, that the way you dress does not affect anything. It's what you have in your brain that really matters. And that engineering can be practiced by anybody depending on what you want to do, regardless of how you dress and how you are perceived by the culture. So you can collaborate with the way Najib has done. I'm sure you can get his contact from NUESA. And then you can take it off from there and do something similar to what he has done in Kano, in your own, in maybe some of those other zones that you coordinate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Ma. I'm glad to announce to us, especially to my president, that the past chairman of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Gombe branch, has just announced that they are now ready to have APWEN in Gombe State. So that's a plus to the coordinator. So Engineer Amadiko, I'll be following up with you in that regard. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. Real quick, I'd like to call up Dr. Abdul Rashid Babalola for his question.
Thank you. Let me thank the organizers of this program for a good job, a job well done. I'm a university teacher. I am the NUESA advisor to my university. And I do say, attending informal lecture of this type is the way to securing their future. Without missing my word, the NUESA, particularly the targeted member, the female member of NUESA, and of course, the female engineers, have no difference with the male counterpart. All they need to do is to continue to be honest, continue to believe in themselves, continue to trust their potentials, continue to be bold, courageous, and research. There is no, I produced recently a female that led by department, and of course, the faculty, Department of Chemical Engineering in Akwa Ibom State University. So what a man can do, a female, a woman can equally do it if you believe in yourself. So I want to advise the NUESA, the female wing, to at this time continue to enjoy advocacy of this type, because getting job after graduation depends on the students themselves, the candidates themselves. I do tell my students that your job search is in your hand. It depends on how original you are. It is not having the grade alone, but your level of integrity, the level of trust that is what will fetch you job. I want to seriously appreciate the erudite presenters, starting from our mother, Engineer Margaret Ogutala, FNS, FNSCHE. This advocacy of yours, no doubt, will change things for the female engineering students, because you are a typical example of a very rugged, successful engineer. You have moved advocacy from the north to the south to the east of the country. No one can reward you except Almighty God, because each time I listen to this program of yours, I see it that it will go a long way in changing things in the way the female engineers perceive themselves. I was a branch chairman in the north. We have moved advocacy to many female secondary school. And I must tell you, we receive acceptance and we are able to convince parents by going with female engineers that are successful. And from Zone A coordinator, who said Kaduna is among the less interested female engineer, you are right. But that perspective is being changed gradually. We were able to move so many to study engineering. And I can tell you, if this continues, just as this advocacy has done a lot, very soon we shall have equal female engineers with the male engineers. There is no difference. The difference is in their thinking. You can perform. There is no arms of engineering that a female cannot handle. They can do as well as a man. They should continue to work. I also want to appreciate Engineer Nena Egwebe. I'm so impressed with your oratory way of delivering today's lecture. In fact, you have touched the humanity of female engineering, prospective engineers. This will go a long way in their life. I want to also thank the president who has organized this. My own sister, Engineer Fumilayo. This you have been doing. So many lectures of this type that you have organized for women. History will continue to remember you, even when you have long finished your tenure, because I am willing myself to have been a female engineer. I will have been fully involved in your program because it is educative. Let us continue to tell these young female engineers that honesty of purpose is what can give them greatness. No matter what they do, they should never cut corner. Do thorough research and believe in yourself, and that is going to be the answer to the success they are anticipating for. Thank you very much for having me at this program.
Just a point of correction. This was organized by NUESA.
Yes.
This program was organized by NUESA. Yes, I'm just a guest, just like you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, NUESA. Thank you, NUESA.
Thank you very much, sir. So because of time, we'll just take our last question from Rims Urese. I'm so sorry to the other participants that raised their hands. So sorry, because of time, we'll have to cut something short. So Rims.
Please, can you unmute yourself?
I am Rimam Nyang. Good morning. I'm Rimam Nyang, Rimam Sikwe from Taraba State University. My question goes to Engineer Nena. I want to know, what is APOIM doing to be able to help the females engineers in Taraba State? And knowing the fact that our university is still a baby university, but we have engineers, and most of this program of APOIM is not coming to our state. What are you doing to consider the plight of our female student engineers? That is my question. And thank you to NUESA for bringing up something like this for us. Thank you.
Well, I just dropped my number. Just call me. We'll reach out to your school as soon as possible.
Okay.
So you'll be my contact person in the school. So is that okay? Thank
yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma. Okay, so we have one last person, and let's just give the person an opportunity real quick. Engineer Ahmed Kuti. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, the organizers, and also my senior colleagues on the line. Well, what I want to quickly say is on the issue of sex disparity, different between sex disparity, which is differentiating between male and female, and that was what brought up about gender, which is a social attribute allotted to the sex, male or female in the society. Yes, we are having this issue, most especially with our culture, although this is not only Nigerian issue, it's a worldwide syndrome in the societies. Despite that, we have to overcome it, and thank God Upwell is doing well in this angle. But we should also know that as Upwell is doing, we as society, or we as the representative of the societies, have to also do our bit. Let us look at, as somebody just mentioned now, that female engineers are not much coming up in some parts of the northern. Yes, Sokoto engineering is still new, and the university has been in existence for a very long time. Katsina is doing well. Female are being enrolled now. Niger is old. We have females there. Kaduna, we have, as one of my national ESCO have spoken, Zamfara. Zamfara for now is completely not doing well because we don't even have universities enrolling engineering there now. Kebbi, we have an old polytechnic there. Now we have a university, so we can still call it new. Gombe, we have a polytechnic there, and I think the university, I don't know how strong they are. Bauchi is an old university. They are producing female engineers. Jigawa is a baby. So these are the little jottings I did. Then there is somebody who was talking on OBE. I think it's my Oga engineer in Nenna. Yeah, OBE is a system now that will stimulate all these processes with time. So what I want to advise here is the technology is advancing on a daily basis. And if you even look at it, these female engineers you are looking at, there is no school now that you have a first class. As far as it's engineering, a female will not be one of them. Yes, this is a study. You can check it anywhere now. Go to all universities. What you are producing in universities now, if you can have a male child or a male graduate first degree in engineering, they have civil, mechanical, electrical, the next first class, either the first or the immediate will be a female child. So we are still coming, but as a whole, we have a lot to do as we're already in the industry. And as my mentor has said, Engineer Oguntala, then Appoint President, can I say President Ma or immediate past president? I think she's still the president.
She's still the president.
She's still the president. Yes, thank you, Ma. Engineer Inenda also mentioned it. See, we are trying to move away from being dependent on white-collar job. And this is not only peculiar to Nigeria. You go outside Nigeria, you see the people employed by government are just maybe like 10 to 90. So that is where we are going. NUESA joined Apwen, most especially my lady colleagues. Apwen has a lot of programs. See, talking to most of them can give you a job. Just talk to them, you will get job. To talk is also a job. Being a good speaker is a job already. So we have to expand our horizon to be looking at a government, you are pinned, taking 60,000, 50,000 naira in a month is a good one, but definitely there are other ways that if you are able to explore, you get more, and you can get it through all these mentors you are seeing physically. So that is the little I will say. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Ahmed. Engineer Margaret, your hand is up. Would you like to say something, Ma?
I forgot to lower my hand. I've just done that now.
Okay.
I raised it earlier to speak on Adamu's case.
All right, Ma. Okay, we have gone past time, and next up on our agenda is vote of thanks, and I would like to call upon Zone B coordinator to do so.
Yeah, thank you very much, and greetings to everyone. And this has been a really good program, and NUESA National is grateful to all our speakers. We want to appreciate most of them, especially Engineer Funmilola, who is the APOEM president. We also appreciate Engineer Margaret Uguntala, who has done a lot of justice to the topic. And we all need to understand that in women's engineers, being the catalyst in developing and the technical advancement of women, there is key note for us to understand that our industry is currently changing. Now we are dealing in an energy industry in which everything is changing and is growing digital. And one of our speakers, Engineer Funmilola, one of our speakers, I think she mentioned that. That is Engineer Chinyere, and those are the key things we need to look at. And we are happy and grateful that some of these things have been brought down to our members to understand the students that there is need for us to engage ourselves in soft skills, as well as trying to put everything structured towards meeting up with the job market industry. Now, we should also understand that a lot of things are changing, and NUESA National is not relenting its efforts towards meeting with the needs of the students and to the needs of the community. This program, we're looking at the students in general, but we are so grateful that some lecturers and some staff advisors saw the need to be part of it, and most importantly, men. Because one thing that is still killing us, like one of our speakers mentioned, Engineer Margaret, there is need for us to understand gender equality. Because sometimes when we mention the word gender equality, people think that it's centered just to the women. Whereas at that point, we are rather looking at feminism. But there is need for us to understand that with respect to gender equity, everybody needs to be carried along. So if a program is going on that is about women, then there is also need for the men to be part of that program. Because now the men who have been on call for this program, we are very certain and sure that at the end of the day, these men will be able to interact and encourage their females. That is when I mention that I'm talking of the women, that is their wives and their female children. So there is need for all inclusiveness in all we have done. And we also wish to encourage you all to understand that NUESA National is not going to relent its effort. So we thank those who have made it time to be part of this program. And we thank most especially the speakers, because from their presentation, we are very certain, and it is of no doubt that the energy industry, with respect to the engineering sector for the female, is going to receive great transformation within the next decade. It's our utmost joy that we see people participating on these goals and these initiatives we are creating and we are fostering. And APOEM alone is also doing much more. And NUESA National, we felt that there is no way we should see such great initiatives going on, and we will not want to partnership with those who are seeing greatly. And our own boss too, Engineer Margaret Oguntala, it was really a pleasure for us having you. There are a lot of other great dignitaries who are on the call. We might not really acknowledge your presence now, but you should know that deep within our hearts, we are grateful and we are diligent and we are forever grateful for your presence. Now, we should also know that NUESA is not going to end here. We are doing a lot of programs and we'll continue to do those programs. We pray that you guys should stay connected with us. Go to our website, check and see the programs we are having that are coming up. Look at the best means you can reach out with us. And one thing I also wish to plead on us, most of the professionals who are on call, is that some of you have a lot to offer to NUESA National. We need speakers, we need resource persons.
we have, but we might not have all. Your own resources are also key and very important to us. If we don't reach out to you, try to also reach out to us to see where you can join us to equip our student communities. There is high need for us all to join to make this success, because success alone is not an individual task. If it's an individual task, then there will be bound to be deficiencies, because an individual cannot bring in those explicit that can unitarily build a society. I want to thank each and every one of us, and I want to say all of us being part of this program, we have become ambassadors from what we have been told or what we have been taught. Let us take out this knowledge and return back to our various communities, our various homes, our various chapters, our various classrooms, or wherever we find ourselves, whether it's church milieu or wherever, or in our traditional setting, to sensitize everyone so that we don't just be beneficiaries of the knowledge, but we should also become mentors, like one of our speakers mentioned. Sometimes what kills most of our female engineers and us too is that we are only looking for mentors. We only want to be mentees. We should start thinking beyond the aspect of being mentors. Why can't we also become mentors? And I feel I'm grateful to Engineer Margaret Ogontala for mentioning and highlighting that point, so that as we are living here, our female engineers will key into that and will see the need that in as much as women need to remain in the spotlight and also be able to remove gender stereotype, they need to understand that they also should be looking at being in the active role. They should also be looking at being productive. And also as engineers, I believe that as the energy industry continues to change, we will not be left out of it, and we incorporate it. And I wish to encourage each and every one of us that, just like we have heard from our speakers, let us not be left out. Try to involve yourself digitally. Try to get yourself within the trend that is reigning in the industry, because there is no doubt, like I told you, me, just because of my skill, which I'm a video editor, within last night and this morning, I was doing a memo video for Dr. Charles, who died, and that alone cost me. That alone, I was paid 7,000 for something I did within less than 5 hours. Now, we engineers, we should think beyond what we are getting from our classrooms. Our classrooms are just to orientate and structure our minds, but we need programs like this to review areas where there is high level of demand. And one of those things is data analysis. And we must key to it as women engineers, or as professionals, or as students in the making who are potential engineers or young potential graduates, as most of us that are in the call. Let us not be left out. It is not late. We can still make a living out of where we are by taking a step from this program. I want to thank you all. My president also extends his gratitude, and he says there is no way this program would have been successful without each and every one of you. NUESA National will always be grateful. Our national conference will be coming up in February. The details of that will be out. And why not, all those who have been on call, it will be a pleasure for you guys to be with us, so that through panel sessions, we can one-on-one meet and network and partnership and get to know each other best, and as well interact with the students as well. So thank you all, and thank the MC for the great job you have done throughout in coordinating this program. We thank all our national leaders of NUESA who have been on call, and we thank most especially some of the staff advisors like Dr. Abdul Rashid, who was on this call. This gives us joy to understand that some chapters are carrying along their staff advisors. We encourage other chapters to do same, because at the end of the day, there is need for everybody to be included in this process. Thank you all, and God bless you all, and Allah protect you in our struggles as we continue to strive for a better Nigeria through the engineering sector, and NUESA will not relent its efforts to ensure that that is achieved. Thank you all for being with us. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ng, for that wonderful vote of thanks. So we've come to the end of this wonderful program. I actually wish we could have more time to discuss and network, but time is our greatest constraint. So we'll be closing this program by taking the second stanza of the national anthem, which will be displayed on the screen. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate you taking time out to be here. And I'd like to give the floor to the president of NUESA.
Karen, can we see your face? Now we know who has been talking to us.
Yes, you can. Can you see me?
Okay, Karen, let me.
Well done, Nana and Meg.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well done, my president.
So I guess we can start logging out now. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to Engineer Chinyere. She put her number up on the chat box. And also you can visit the AppWen website, and also you can reach out to the NUESA president and his team. Thank you so much, everyone, and do have a wonderful weekend ahead.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I really appreciate your
Thank you. Bye-bye.
From NIE's office. Thank you. Thank you.
Is Chairman Zaria branch. Thank you.
That's why NEO says thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you all.
Thank you very much.
HypeNigeria.com.
I'm just an ordinary girl sitting in a hallway. I know they turn up, cause I'm a little boring. But I'm the life of the party, cause I'm kinda funny. Money don't drive me, I drive my money. Yeah. When I saw the thing big, me I no go force you to like what you see, yeah. Because I come in peace, and I'm at peace, and that's all I need, yeah. Everything's not for everyone, and that is okay. You gotta take me as I am, I'll be better, but I'll never be somebody else. Yeah. Wherever you go, be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Yeah. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself. I talk a little too much, I got it from my mama, got it from Shola, yeah. My baby tell me, I get the drama. Whatever. Oh, I do the best I can, cause I believe in karma. Oh, no. Maga don't pay me, no, I pay my maga. You see, now so the thing be, me I no go force you to like what you see, yeah. Because I come in peace, so, and I'm at peace, and that's all I needed. See, everything's not for everyone, and that is okay. Just take me as I am, I'll do better, but I'll never be somebody else. Yeah, wherever you go, be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Yeah, whatever you do, you better be true. pressure, be yourself. See nobody perfect, no be like. I've got flaws I can't deny, but everybody getting personality, personality. My guy make you live your life, oh. Person will love you, die. But you can never satisfy society, oh. Society, original. Wherever you go, just be yourself. You can never be somebody else. Whatever you do, you better be true. No matter the pressure, be yourself.
HypeNigeria.com.
Jason. Dr. Dollar
If he there for back, I go there for front. Chineke puli wa menu wesi mumamburu kawa. Afufunta chalo emesia we boutique o. I know say I know deserve your blessings, but you they still support. Now I'm living life like a holiday. Now I know they care because money day. Only if a man will be konya di day. On your lawyer kulu konya di day. Papa no get to, money no day. But I go hard, I make my mama proud. Yeah. Blessings follow me and follow the new. Imana tukwe me go